Hi everyone, my name is Alejandra Castillo. I'm gonna record the video for the task 1 step 3. I'm gonna answer some questions, reflection questions, taking account the readings that we have to do before. I'm actually in my 8th semester of bachelor degree in foreign language teaching, and I'm taking this course. The readings are based on VII and by Leva, Ehrman, and Stegman. So the first question, okay. What is my purpose for studying English? By first instance, I would like to become a professional teacher. I'm training to become a French teacher, and actually James points that effective communication in English are required for future teachers. So I would like to become a little bit more confident speaking through my students. I would like to perfectionize my vocabulary and grammar. I want to be able to be fluently at the moment to speak, and not just because talking in English, but having it in a professional way. I understand that English open doors. It also works for international communication, relationships in the future, also for academic degrees or even applying for jobs. That's something that actually English engage a person to improve their skills in a relationship way. So what aspects imply acquiring speaking skills? Speaking is not to memorize vocabulary or to follow the rules of the grammar. It also depends or is attached to cognitive and effective and interpersonal dimensions working together. So in one side, Lever and colleagues explain that speaking means encouraging yourself into language in real time, using memory, using vocabulary, using grammar, because talking in their life requires of fluency, communication. You need to have accuracy, what you're talking about, what you are thinking. It has to be like a deadline, and have to be whatever you're talking or whatever you're thinking, you gotta know how to express it, or you will give the wrong idea. So in an interpersonal side, speaking develops through meaningful tasks and interaction, even alone or with people. Actually, Lever and colleagues describe that there are different levels of interaction. The first one is doing you by yourself, practicing by yourself at home, or listening to music, like reading or writing. Then between two people, whenever you have the chance to talk with a native person that mother language is English, you actually are doing 2-by-2 conversation. And then in a group of members, whenever you get into, for example, your class that everybody speak in English, you could also be interacting with them. So to be honest, I have been doing it in my online language community practices. I teach class to my students for the 1st to 5th semester, and what we do is that talking. I do prepare some activities, gamified activities, for them to don't persist, or for them to don't think that learning English is boring. So I try to prepare some activities for them to improve their skills in listening, speaking, writing, and reading. So next question is, how can I assess my progress? For a successful plan, I will say that you need to practice. Where is something about learning a language is that if you don't practice it enough and every day, if you just forget it in a time, eventually by the time you're not gonna have the level that you would like to have, or maybe the level that you were studying for. So something that is very, very, very important is to practice every single day, listening to music, like something that I always say to assess my progress and to continue having the level that I have, is practicing and putting the English language in my life. So because I know it's hard that I'm in an environment that nobody is speaking English, I actually say, okay, I need to play some music in English and maybe transcribe it, or put it down on a piece of paper and try to figure out what the person is saying. Or maybe if I'm watching the news, I want to watch the news in a TV show that explains in English what is happening. Also, if I want to read about something and go, if the news or whatever I'm reading becomes from United States, for example, I would like to read it in the national language. As well happens with the movies. If I'm watching a movie, I would like to watch it in English. I'd rather to watch it in English, not because eventually I'm practicing in English, but because it gives you a different way that if you're watching another stuff in your language. I don't know, it's not like the same feeling that would like to transmit a movie, for example, that is made for people to watch. How can I organize lifelong language learning? In my daily life, as I said before, I try to put English in the middle of something. For example, if I'm looking for a receipt, I always try to keep English on the way. So maybe sometimes I don't understand some products or some words, I go straight to Google and I say, what is this? What's the meaning of this? And then I practice a little bit. I also, as a teacher, and when I'm doing with my practices, is that when we're learning vocabulary, I usually use Quizlet for flashcards, and they put the meaning, the word, and then beside they put the meaning, and you can play it and you can memorize what are the words that you're trying to learn. As well, whenever I don't have the definition, or when I want to say something but I don't know how to do it because I don't know the word in English, I try to explain like itself as an example. For example, I would like to say, I like to drink water from this bottle because it tastes better. So I don't know how to say that, so I say, to be honest, sometimes I don't like the water for outside, so I rather to drink it from this bottle. I don't know, try to reorganize the idea that you have. So I studied English to teach and to connect. Speaking English makes me have a real interaction, even if I'm talking with a native person or not. I believe speaking is a way for you to understand another country, for you to understand another culture. And for me, English is a really lovely language, and everybody is talking in English whenever you would like to travel to another country. Even if the mother language of that country is not English, they're gonna talk to you in English. So I find English very important for your lifelong, for your curriculum, for your studies. I believe something is important to have on your check. That's pretty all. Thank you so much for watching the video.